friends, so there you have it. Nintendo officially announces that tomorrow on the 18th of June, in under 24 hours, there will indeed be a Nintendo Direct focusing on 40 minutes worth of Nintendo Switch software in 2024. Not exclusively, something from 2025 might get shown. So there you have it. Confirmed, exciting times, but what will they be showing? That is the question. I have my own thoughts. I know some of you have been led to believe by the hype online that we're going to see a new Twilight Princess, that we're going to see a new Wind Waker, that we're going to see a new Donkey Kong Country 3D game, that we're going to be seeing a new Mario game maybe, that we're going to be seeing Metroid Prime 4. But what do I think about that? What does ATB think about that? Could it happen? Well, no, of course it cannot happen. We're not going to get any of those. That's going to be my first prediction. In fact, I'm so confident. I've got a competition running live whilst we stream tomorrow's Direct, so don't be missing it. And where I've claimed that if Nintendo should show either Metroid Prime 4 or Zelda Twilight Princess or Wind Waker or a Donkey Kong 3D game, I will give away a copy of each one of those games to a lucky viewer in tomorrow's live streaming on our channel of the Direct, because I just don't think it's going to happen. But why? Well, in the case of Twilight Princess and Wind Waker, I think that ship has sailed. Not to say it's not going to show up at some point in the future. I just don't believe it's going to be on the Switch anymore. I don't. I think Nintendo's going to now save that until they hype up Zelda again in the future and probably release it as a double pack. There's also the whole weird feeling that Nintendo looks at those games, I think, a bit differently from us fans. I feel like they want to push people very much so in the direction of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. And as Anuma once said himself, he looks at games like Ocarina of Time and Twilight Princess and Wind Waker as, in his words, limited. He sees them as limiting games. And so I don't think Nintendo is in such a big rush to celebrate those games. And that's why I don't think they will show up in tomorrow's Direct. Now, a 3D Donkey Kong Country game, I have no doubt that is being made, whether it is by the official Mario team in Tokyo, as many of the rumors have suggested. I'm not quite sure. It wouldn't surprise me, but I don't see why they wouldn't just give it to Retro, even though they are busy on Metroid Prime 4. I think they are big enough now, in their own words, they've said in the past, they are big enough company now, big enough developer to make more than one game at a time. So, but nonetheless, it could be being made in Tokyo at the moment. I just don't think it's going to be a Switch game. I will come on to something Donkey Kong related in the games I will predict though later on. Next up, Metroid Prime 4. What do I think about that? I just don't think it's going to show. I think it's been too long. It's been 7 years since we saw that title screen, Metroid Prime 4 title. And now I am more convinced than ever that it is a cross-generation game. And if I'm Nintendo, I want to show off Metroid Prime 4 for the first time on brand new hardware, making it look as polished as possible, bolstering up that what could be the launch lineup for the Switch 2, and just making it, you know, come out singing. And then dropping the fact that it's going to be also out on regular Switch as well. So that's what I would do. Again, I do think there will be something Metroid related, which I will talk about in a second. But as of Metroid Prime 4, I just don't believe that is gonna show up. But then that begs the question, how will Nintendo fill out a presentation that, let's not forget, is 40 minutes long? Well, I have my own thoughts, and I do think it's going to be a little disappointing. Sorry to say, that's just my opinion. I do believe Nintendo is going to hold out anything massive, anything amazing for the Switch 2. That is just logical, and I believe that third parties might do the same. It's clear to see that the excitement for the Switch is on the way down. It is winding down. We can see that by the games Nintendo themselves in the last year or two have given to us. Smaller games, Kirby games, Peach games, remasters of Luigi Mansion games, a Endless Ocean that was undercooked, and very little content in it. And I believe we're going to get more of the same. Namely, I do think we're going to get a Mario sports game, Mario basketball, Mario baseball, one of these type of Mario sports games. Maybe even a Mario and Sonic at the Olympics type games. Of course, the Olympics are happening. So, you know, I expect something like that. And if it is a Mario sports game, I think I'm going to be disappointed with it. It will probably be a game that looks polished enough, plays well enough, but will have a severe lack of content as all the other Mario sports games currently have, be that tennis or golf or whatever. So, but I do think that's a very high possibility game of turning up. Now, I said no to a 3D Donkey Kong game earlier, but I do concede I can see a slim possibility, maybe not of an original 2D Donkey Kong game, but how about a re-release, I don't know about a remaster, hopefully at least a little remaster of Donkey Kong Country Returns on the Wii, which hasn't shown up on the Switch somehow. Of course, we've got Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, but I would kill to have Donkey Kong Country Returns on the Switch. That is an amazing game, Retro's first game at the franchise, and that would be, I think, a game, especially if it was shadow dropped, would put a smile on people's faces. Now, what else do I think will show up? I do think there will be a few other noteworthy announcements that will bring a smile to your face, and I'm predicting one of those to be F-Zero GX from the GameCube being brought to the Switch. That's what I'm predicting. I've got to think that Nintendo, in fact, I'm convinced Nintendo brought F-Zero 99 to the Switch as a method, as a way for them to gauge interest in the franchise from us, the gamers. And I'm glad to say, at least it seemed online from the reaction, it was highly positive. People seem to love playing F-Zero 99. And of course, there isn't a shortage of wannabe F-Zero games out there. And in fact, if I was Nintendo, I would get someone like Shinin Multimedia, the people behind Fast RMX, to make or to remaster F-Zero GX from the GameCube. That's what I would do. And I do think that has been on the radar. I do think Nintendo is conscious of that being wanted by fans. And it's not a game that takes 3 or 4 years to make. So I'm going to put it out there. I think F-Zero will show up. Now, next up is a game that we've been predicting to appear in a Direct for years at this point, and it's Hollow Knight Silk Song. Where the hell is that game? It's been missing longer than Jesus. But I do predict that game is gonna finally show up on the Nintendo Direct, and not just that, I believe Nintendo's Direct is gonna open with that game. I juggled between that and another game. I initially thought maybe it would be the One More Thing game, but I've got something else in mind for that. But I do think Nintendo will start strong by showing Hollow Knight Silk Song. I know there was a lot of rumors that Microsoft was going to show it at its conference, and it wasn't. And that's another reason I believe they might have made a deal with Nintendo to show it off at the Direct. Right, on the side of that, I do think, or I'm questioning whether we'll get another batch of Xbox games on the Switch. And I am inclined to believe, I'm inclined to predict even, that we will finally get Hi-Fi Rush. I do believe it was always meant to be on the Switch. Maybe Sony paid to get it on the PS5 first. So, and of course we do have the information that was data mined, which showed a Nintendo Switch t-shirt intended for the game. I don't believe that would have been for the Switch 2. I believe that's for the Switch, and I believe that has a chance of showing up. But talking about other Xbox games, or rather Rare games, of course we have got past Rare games as Banjo-Kazooie, Blast Corps, Killer Instinct. And I wouldn't be at all surprised if we got another game from Rare, another N64 game maybe, in the form of Banjo-Tooie, Conker's Bad Fur Day, or how about Microsoft having just announced, or not just announced, having shown in great detail Perfect Dark. How about Rare releasing Perfect Dark 64 on the Nintendo Switch Online at tomorrow's Direct? That is something I can see happen. I could definitely see something from Rare resurfacing on the Switch. Now, talking of Nintendo Switch Online, will we finally get GameCube games? Well, no, of course we won't. It's too good to be true. You know Nintendo. 1 step forward, 2 steps back. So I do think we will get something in the Nintendo Switch Online. I might even be willing to believe we'll get a new console, but I think it's going to be DS, not GameCube, so we're just going to have to make do and be happy with playing Nintendogs and Brain Age on the go. No GameCube this time. I believe that will be at some point in the future, 2029, probably on the Switch 2, who knows. But I do think we will get DS games or Dreamcast games or something like that, but I think it's going to be DS games. Right, and how about the announcement for the one more thing? One big thing. We have to go back to Metroid. As I said before, I don't believe Metroid 4 is coming. Oh, well, it's coming, but it's not going to be shown in the Direct. I don't believe that for a second, but I do believe Nintendo will bow out of the Direct with Metroid Prime 2 Remastered. I don't know about Metroid Prime 2 and 3. I don't know. I feel like, you know, if you're going to release the first one by itself, I know 2 and 3 are rumored to be remastered, but not to the same extent as Prime 1 was. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was just Prime 2. I believe that will be the final one more thing announcement, and I think it will be shadow dropped. So I do think we're going to get some Metroid in some shape or form. I just don't think it's going to be Metroid Prime 4. I think that wait will carry on until the reveal of the Switch 2. So that's more or less what I think we're going to see. I will give a couple of, you know, out there suggestions of games I would love to see that could happen, but maybe probably won't. One of them is a Capcom exclusive Resident Evil. Maybe Resident Evil Revelations 3. That is again has been rumored again for years, I feel like. Ever since they brought over Monster Hunter to the Switch and had used their RE engine to great effect, could that be tailored to a exclusive Resident Evil? Of course it could. Capcom could do it, and it has been rumored for a long time, but would they release it at this late stage in the life cycle of the Switch? I'm not quite sure, but I wouldn't be out there surprised. Another game which I definitely believe will come at some point in the future, I just don't know whether it'll be on the Switch or Switch 2, and that is Platinum Games' Astral Chain 2. That game was incredible. In my opinion, the best exclusive on the Switch, the best action game on the Switch. Yes, even better than Bayonetta 3, of course, made by the same developer. It's a game that I know they were happy with the sales of. I know within the first year it surpassed 1 million. It's not clear what it's ended up selling, but I know within the first year it surpassed 1 million. And Platinum Games was said to have been happy with the sales of the game. Of course, they even showed one of its characters, Lappy, the little mascot, the little puppy mascot, in one of the trailers for Bayonetta 3. So I have no doubt they will be working on a sequel to Astral Chain, which I am so damn excited about. But again, that game was released years ago now, so, you know, it could be that they are in heavy development. And last time, when they first unveiled, let's not forget, when they first unveiled Astral Chain, I believe they unveiled it once and it was out 6 months later. So it's not out of this world for them to show it in tomorrow's Direct and it be out in 4, 5, 6 months. It's not out of this world at all. You know, the almost greedy side of me would kind of rather see it on the Switch 2 with better hardware, but I would be so pumped to see that. There you have it, my friends. Those are my predictions, yes, for tomorrow's Nintendo Direct. Have I missed anything out? Did you agree? Did you completely disagree? I think it's going to be an okay Direct. I'm anticipating to give it a solid 6.57 out of 10. I'm keeping my expectations down low, and if nothing else, they show Metroid Prime 2, I will be singing and dancing. And if you are one of those hoping to see Twilight Princess, Wind Waker, Metroid Prime 4, my condolences in advance because they are not going to show. But as I said at the beginning of this video, if they do show up, do not forget, I will give away a copy of each one of those games, Twilight Princess, Metroid Prime 4, Wind Waker, tomorrow live. I will give away a copy of each one of those that show up live in the Direct on my stream tomorrow. So make sure you are here for your chance to win. As I said, I will leave you all with that video. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you do want to let me know what predictions you have, make sure it's in the description below. Hit that like and subscribe. It helps us out. And until then, my good friends, I will see you tomorrow live for Nintendo's Direct. See ya.